my girls were like, Mom, are you nervous? And I was like, no, not yet. I said, I bet you I'll be nervous, when I'm about to hit the stage. But to be quite honest with you, George, as soon as they called my name, I just felt like it's happened before. Like I've been out there. I was worried about my practice, about my posing. I mean, my posing's kind of where I just need to kind of upkeep, tightening the legs. I've got the legs, but I've got to practice the tightening. And as soon as they called my name, it was like, that was it. Like there was no nerves, no butterflies. I just went out there. I had to show what I am there to show, and it's my body. It's nothing else. It's what I've worked hard for, not just the 12 weeks that I was prepping for, but we're talking, consecutive years of training. So I loved it. It was kind of like I was born for that. I don't know if it makes sense, but I just went out there and it was just perform. That's what I had to do. So I finished, and when they called my name, I was ecstatic, right? It's my first time I've been on a stage. So I was very, very humbled, but very happy at the same time too. So it was an amazing, I can't even explain the experience. Somebody mentioned it's like, birthing a child. You birth a child naturally, all the pain you go through, it's excessive pain, and and you have this child and you forget about it all. It's the same thing with, like competing. You go through this whole prep, you're eating, you go through these emotions. Like 2 weeks before my Toronto Pro, I was crying. I'm like, why am I doing this? I was supposed to do one show. But at the end of the day, it's all worth it. It all comes down to that one moment. And personally, even if I hadn't placed first, if I placed third or fourth, I would still be happy because I did it. I did something that was always on my mind to do, and I finally executed it. And then it just brought me to the next stage, to the Toronto Pro Show. So, going there was a little bit different. My coach was like, okay, this is a bigger show. You've got bigger competition. And, I went in there humbled again, not thinking anything. Whatever I do, I do. If I place top 5, I'd be happy. So I placed first and I was very happy. I wasn't going to do the 40, but my coach is like, just, to make sure we get your pro card, get in there, do the 40 plus and 40 master plus, and won that as well too. So I was very happy. I won't lie.
Yeah. Also, in that show, you can also jump in and make your pro debut there too. But that's the thing is, like, you compete in masters. That's another expense you have to pay, because you have to pay to get your pro card activated, and also pay your pro card. Also pay for the cash to compete because you do over 40.
Right. Yep.
It's a good show. It was a lot of stuff that's going on. I was talking to some ladies online. They're telling me it was like, because especially in the pro part, that Sunday it was like they kept changing the time. Because at one point, they were supposed to, the final was supposed to start around 4:30, and then it went 6 o'clock. Then it went to 7 o'clock. I think the problem was because this show was a first tier qualifier, because with divisions like men's classic, men's open, wellness, and bikini. This year, the point system is that you do like 2 or 3 shows, you get to go to Olympia. But if you do a show like something like the on a classic or you're a pro, you get automatic shot. And then you have a bunch of competitors got their pro cards jumping in and making their pro debut the next day.
The next day, yeah, yeah, yeah. So that was the first year. So I wasn't aware that they didn't have it any other year. But yeah, I wasn't there on the Sunday, just because of the whole like pro debut, pro card, and all that. So I didn't go on the next day. I didn't know, but I do have the app, and I remember the app pinging and saying, we're going on late, we're going on later. And I was like, wow, that's a long day for competitors, especially when you're thinking you're going to end at 6 and you're ending at 10. You want that cheat meal.
And those competitors actually, I think women's bodybuilding physique was next to last, and 212 was dead last. And some people didn't get to eat till like maybe about 12 or 1 o'clock. And I mean, you hankering for that cheat meal. You hankering for that. I want something.
The water,
something with electrolytes. But then it's that they want something with real, like not say real food. They want food with some salt, some sugar, some butter. One lady I followed, Sheena Oleg. She found this place. It's a little Indian place, and it was open till 2 o'clock. And she got there because they were done by a little bit before 12, and she said it was a miracle she found that place. So your coach, how long have you been working with? And again, you mentioned him earlier.
Yeah, so with Tim Love, January. So I've just recently been with him in January, so not even a year.
Yeah. So he's a pretty good coach.
He's really good. Yeah, like he's on top of everything. I can't complain. He's a good guy. Says it like it is. I just got my diet plan, and on there he had, oh, you. I guess he forgot to erase it where it said cheat meal. I'm like, should I call him and say, hey, there's a cheat meal? But I knew for sure because I'm coming down now to my 8 weeks, so I know now moving forward there's going to be nothing, which I'm okay with. But he's a good, yeah, he's great. He's like the posing. I'll pose for him. He's honest about the posing. I need to strengthen the leg posing a little bit too. So working on that, which I will get to because I want to be ready for September 6th.
September 6th.
Yeah,
So
so that'll be the Pittsburgh show. It's the IFBB
World
Pro.
Master Championships.
Yeah, so doing the 50 plus there this year.
Well, if you do 40 plus, you can qualify for Masters Olympia.
I know I'm not thinking that far ahead, George. I'm
What
taking it one step at a time. It's just happened too fast for me, so I just kind of want to. Yeah, I mean, 3 shows in a row. I went back to Tim after this show and I said, okay, so I'm packing it up for the next year, and can I do my pro debut in a year? He's like, Pittsburgh is in 10 weeks, and I looked at him. I said, really? And his advice was to me, like, it's a good thing to do now. I mean, you're already in prep. I mean, to do it a year from now, I'll have to start over and do the regionals again, and then do the pro show again, and then qualify to go on this stage. So I figure strike while the iron's hot, right?
well, technically, once you get your pro card, you have to do regionals anymore. That's over.
The
You can
12,
just
the 1 year that you have.
once you get your pro card, regionals are done.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
this is how it works. This is the whole controversy talk about pro cards. If you don't register and have your pro card updated, pay your fees, then you have to start over. If
Okay.
you have now got your pro card, you paid for it, you don't have to do any regionals. You can do any show that has, like, this weekend. Actually, this is almost next week, going to be the peak week for Chicago Pro, and they do masters. And also there's Tampa that do masters. There's a show also another show in Florida, which is the Atlantic Coast. They do masters. There's also another show. There's a class. Masters really has picked up in the last few years. Because we see a lot of women like yourself who are of mature age starting the sport. I know ladies who actually, one lady I interviewed, she actually got her pro card in North America the year before and made her pro debut the next year, and she was 74 when she got a pro card.
Wow.
And I got a friend. Her name is Eunice. And shout out to Eunice. And Eunice runs a company called, I always want to shout them out, company called Bad Rap. The moniker is big and defined, ripped and pumped. We like the rip part. And she is going to be 61 in September, and she did the Tampa Bay Pro last year. I went there as to support her because she's we did an interview a few years ago. We've been good friends, and she keeps me up on things, and I keep up on stuff. And Eunice is a great lady. And again, she's 60. This is Eunice. She is
Wow.
60 years old, going to be 61.
So
And she's an amazing lady. Yeah. She's been competing since the 80s, but took a step back, and then she started her company, Bad Rap. And this was experience for me when I went to Tampa because, she was opening a booth there. I wanted to help her out because I got nothing to do. And guess who's that in between us? You don't you recognize who that gentleman is?
No, sorry.
I'll give you a hint. He's hot for teacher.
He's an actor, and I'm really bad with movies, so
That's
you're gonna
David
have to
Lee
know.
Roth. I mean,
Oh, okay, yeah.
he was there. He's a big bodybuilding fan. I would have never met that man in my
No.
life. Because I'm a poor country boy. Other than maybe going to Florida a couple of times and been to Virginia, or I never really, I remember one time it was like about 30 years ago. Me and my family, me, my sisters, and my nephews and nieces went to Disney World, and I saw Alex Trebek. He was walking someone with his daughter on his shoulder, and I ran on film because I took so many cameras and pictures that day. But yeah, it's experience. Understanding all the factors what it is with bodybuilding, from the training to the dieting to show performance. Like for yourself, what is the thing that you feel like is the biggest issue, the thing that really helps you in your process as a bodybuilder?
What the issue is in the process?
Yeah.
The process, I mean, for me specifically, there's the amount of water you drink, the amount of time you're in the washroom. I used to be able to sleep through the night. Now it's, you're up 2, 3 times. That's one of the, if you're at work, you're in a meeting, or if you're going to drive somewhere far, I have to make sure, okay, I'm not going to drink a certain amount of time. When I get there, you got to find a washroom. So it's all that water you're taking in as well too. I'm not too worried about the food. The food, I've always kind of watched what I ate. I was always a little bit more of a keto eater, where a lot of meats, a lot of red meat, and a little bit of vegetables. But the prep is fine for me. I just, it's just more near the last 2 weeks is kind of where it's more of a mental game for you, because your carbs are being pulled, you're carb depleted. It's your cardio. Like I've never done so much cardio in the last 35 years that I've done in the last 6, 7 months, right? So then when you do the split, you're splitting up your workouts. Literally, I'm up at 3:45 in the morning, get ready. The gym was open at 5, so I'm basically there from 5 to 8, doing my weights, my training, my core, whatever is on the agenda for the day. And then I look at the time and it's like, there's no way I can fit in 45 minutes of cardio. I've already been here 2 hours and 45 minutes. I like to hit the sauna when I can too as well. But at the end of the day, it depends how bad you want something. And with bodybuilding, somebody had mentioned, you're going out there not to make friends on the stage. The judges are there to look at your body. So if you've done everything to the best of your ability, if you've dieted properly, if you followed everything your coach has told you, you've trained properly, you haven't cut corners, then basically you're going out there feeling confident and saying to yourself, like, okay, judges, this is me. This is the best package that I can bring to the stage today. So, yeah.
It's the thing of more or less, it's not so much about you versus another opponent. It's not you versus you, because you're going out there and you are being judged by these judges who look at you over your body, critique everything. You have to make sure everything is point spot on, like from your posing to your conditioning. I mean, even something like your tanning. I know I've seen some shows where some ladies, I remember one lady was competing at the Toronto show. Her tan was starting to nail on her. I mean, and I've interviewed you a couple of times, and I'm just kind of like, wow, my gosh, she was doing pretty good. But then the placing dropped because I'm having the issue of that. Like for you, what's the thing that you feel like especially after the show, did you get to critique the judges? What's the thing you feel like you need to work on the most when it comes to your overall conditioning, your shape, and everything else?
I don't know if I'm revealing stuff. So for me, I just find a little bit of my weakness being my my glutes. So, especially for older women, it's, we tend to drop. So went back to Tim and said, okay, Tim, we need to really push, my hamstrings a little bit. So we've tweaked and changed a little bit. So in coming to this show, I want my conditioning to be even better. So, I mean, I can see my cardio now. I'm ramping up a little bit earlier versus, set 5 weeks and ramp it up. So I just find I want better conditioning on the stage, tighter glutes, and just really work on my posing, like really, really spend all that time now moving forward, half an hour, 20 minutes each night, and really nail my posing. So
you have a posing coach, or your coach is doing?
I do. Yeah, Kylie's my posing coach. Tim recommended her, so my coach recommended it from. She's also an IFBB, but she's the one that you had on the picture that you sent me, where we're kind of like she's pointing at me when I won the first show. That's Kylie. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So we were doing posing for the shows. Every Sunday we'd pose, practice. I've met her. She's a little bit further than. I mean, we're not close, but we've met. We've done some training together. But definitely using her for future as well. Just we hit it off really well with Kylie.
Where are you located? Because especially as bodybuilding is it's not as, some places it's a big community, other places kind of small.
Yeah, so I'm out in the East End. I'm out in Curtis, Oshawa area. It's big here. I've been like I said, I've been to many gyms here, and it's huge. There's a lot of people. For Oshawa, for being small, there's a lot of people that train, and it's funny because when I'm at shows, I basically see people that I know in Oshawa. Hey, I know you. You're from, that gym or that gym. So it's there's a lot of people interested in it here. Absolutely. I think more than when I was in Toronto, because I was born in Toronto and I lived there till I married and moved here. I think it's a lot more popular in Oshawa than it is in Toronto.
Yeah, because I think Canada had quite a few shows. There was shows in Vancouver. I think the show in Montreal.
Yep.
The Toronto Super Show is one of the biggest ones, so by far. But and also there's quite a few Canadian bodybuilders, like people like Lola Montez. I'm a fan of hers. A lady who I know who's also 60 plus, Melanie Horton. She's going to be competing at the Tampa Pro next month, and she's been a guest on my channel, and I think there's one lady who I was a big fan of back in the day. She had one of those amazing bodies, Laura Beniti. I mean,
I remember her. She was from, I've met her in the gyms here. Yeah. Yeah. Great person. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been trying to tell because she's good friend with Melanie. I said, "Can you get Laura?" Because she just had wow, just one of those. We got here a guest here. Shout out to my man. I got to put my old man glasses for a second.
Sure. I got my old women glasses on.
Yeah. This is my man Black Panther Studio. Says hi, George. This is Black Panther. No duh. And also he says this is hi, George. He repeated it. And also he says Betsy, where you originally from? She just mentioned she's originally from Toronto.
Yep.
But she what's the place? Oshawa?
Oshawa, yeah.
Oshawa. As a man, I'm from the South. Sometimes we say things a little funny and different than yeah.
So, like you said, Betsy when you met me.
Yeah. It's just it's just some words. I get to it. I get it. Yeah. So for you, what's the thing that really? I think what's the big thing of positive sport for yourself? Is it the motivation? Is it training? What really gets you going as a competitor?
I guess it's the competition too, like just competing against somebody next to me. I find too the motivation too. Like for me, working out is an escapism for me, where it's just me and the weights. There's no work involved. There's no husbands, friends, children. It's basically me in the gym. And I push myself, and I do push myself quite far. And I sit there thinking, okay, sometimes in the middle of doing like planks, you're like, well, I'm not going to do this anymore. Like, screw it. Like but then you think to yourself, and I think, no, because there's somebody on that stage is going to sit and do that plank because she wants it more than I do. So it's motivation of competition for me, just getting up on that stage. And if there's somebody next to me, it's that competition of just saying, okay, you know what? I think I look better, right? Do I? Let's let the judges decide. So motivationally, it's the competition.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And also you have to have confidence in yourself because, again, you're walking on a stage where you're pretty much, you just got a little bit of material covering your body. You're tired, you're hot, you have to move around these poses. I mean, one time when they talk about, you can't even like the story with the tanning, because you do tanning, you can't use any kind of
deodorant, perfume. No, midday you kind of start going, okay, when am I going on stage?
Here's a little trick. This lady who I interviewed a while back, she did this. She took fabric softeners. You put in your laundry and use it, put it in her armpits because she just because it helped take off some of the smell. Okay. It's a little trick. You can try and see if it works.
I didn't smell that bad, George. I didn't smell that bad.
Hey, I didn't say you smell that bad. Sometimes it's just a little trick. You need it. Okay, I'm just giving some advice. Okay, I'm just giving some advice. You're lucky you're a woman. We were fighting right now. You're a pretty woman too, because I don't know. I might not control myself. Shout out to my man. Black Panther says, Betsy.
Thank you.
You have a beautiful smile. He's a fan. Also, he says this: work out equals inner peace and motivation. Also, he says this. He says, women's bodybuilding, women's physique, the greatest in Canada. And he has one more here. Beautiful smile, Betsy. Women's physique is the greatest. I tell you this, Betsy. When I get a new girl on here, these guys act like it's like there's an episode of Chappelle Show when they meet Mickey Free and people thought Mickey Free was a chick, but actually he was a dude, and said, "Yeah, yo, Shalma got a new girl. She finds a motherfucker." That's how they act when I get these women on here. It's like Mickey Free, your new chick. So for what we'll do here, we could jump into Betsy's social media for a little bit. If you want to check her out, you want to follow the links in the description of this live. You want to reach out, support, because basically use support. This is a tough sport. It's a sport where there's a lot of mental, emotional, physical, also financial issues that if you want to support her in, she will appreciate that. But again, guys, I gotta tell you, I see some of her pictures. She has a beautiful body, and I know you guys out there because I'm one of you. I know my crown muscle person, but be respectful. She got kids. She got a family. I don't want to be hearing something about her brother jumping somebody in the middle of the street over their little sister. Come on, man. Get yourself together. Get right. So we're going to jump in social media. So you want to follow the links in the description of this live. And we pull up some stuff here. And here she is, right here doing some posing. And she got some great shoulders. What do you feel like is your best physical feature?
I'd have to say my back. Yeah, my back double. My back is one of my strongest muscles. Yeah, we're in the middle there too. You could see that's kind of in the middle of a pull-up. But yeah, I would have to say my back. My back's, very strong. You should have picked the one where I did more reps. No. That's before the Toronto Pro, I believe. Yeah. And just keep in mind that on coach's plan, that's your last workout after you finish 5 or 6 back exercises. Wow, whereas I used to, on my own, I used to do pull-ups. That'd be the first back exercise because it takes so much out of you. So here you are finishing 5 or 6 sets of, 5 or 6 different workouts, and here you get pull-ups.
Yeah. And here's your coach here with you backstage.
Yep.
Yeah.
The crown didn't quite fit my head.
And here she's doing some posing and practicing.
Yeah, so I was at Fidel's there. Fidel lives near me here too, so bumped into him, and he's like, "You should come by the studio." And so I did. Yeah, it was really nice, just to kind of look at yourself in the mirror from every weight because I don't have that option at home. So it was nice to kind of have that mirror vision everywhere.
Is Fidel a friend of yours or somebody you?
Yeah, so Fidel, again, like I've been in the gym for years, like, even on the streets, like I remember my kids being young and my kids saying, everybody, like, where do you know that person from? And every time I'd be, I know him from the gym, or I know her from the gym. And so it was a joke. So Fidel, I've known over the years, like I used to train in Toronto. I don't know if you remember Pitbull Gym. So no, because you're from the States, but there was a gym in Toronto that I worked at. All those guys were there. So then Fidel moved out here. I eventually moved out here, again, seeing him at gyms, and then bumped into him at a gym recently. And he's like, come by my studio. So it was nice. It was a nice experience. Nice to see him again. And yeah, that's at the Toronto Pro.
Yeah, like I said, here's his picture here. It's like, just have a great overall physique, great overall look, especially for a woman of 50 plus. I would think you were 50. I think you may be in your 40s.
I'll take that, George. No, thank you. Yeah, I don't feel it. I honestly don't feel 52.
And who are these people here?
So right here, so behind, so to my right is a friend from high school. He just recently lost his wife. Beside me is my mother. Above me is my brother right behind me, and beside him are 2 friends from high school again too. So friends for years. We were at St. Lawrence Market a couple of weeks back. They had Greek fiesta or some kind of Greek pavilion thing happening. So it was nice just to go out.
Well, man, there's old Southern saying, "You just as pretty as your mama." So,
I'll let her know you said that.
I appreciate that. So, and here she is with the coach, and she getting her pro card. Now, what was the situation of what happened? Because I know we were talking, said that you had to get some paper stuff taken care of.
Yeah, it wasn't really. I think that I just kind of left that with my coach. So my coach it was just basically, I had won the shows and a number of contestants in the show. So I honestly, on that end, I let my coach just kind of look after it. And then I just got the email saying so I did qualify for it, which is great because personally, I think I did deserve it. I won 3 different classes. So I was happy to get it. So.
Yeah, like I say, you put in the work and the time, you deserve it. This is the problem. The big problem is anytime we have a show where there's less than 5 competitors, which is the rule. If you have less than 5, then you either can petition for your pro card especially if you won your division or you won overall.
Which I
And
did, yeah.
yeah. And in some cases, if judges feel like you have a great physique and you like the look of it, yeah, they give it to you. Other times,
Okay.
you might have to do another show. You know,
Yeah.
but here she's from the back here. You do have a beautiful back, and that's the thing is the back can make or break how you place.
Yeah, so definitely, yeah. So my back is my strongest, and it's my favorite exercise as well too. And it's funny because I texted my coach the other day. I said, I noticed you don't have deadlifts in here. I said, can I like opt one out and start my deadlifts? He's like, are you crazy? In all caps, you're 8 weeks out of your show. I don't want you injured.
Yeah, and
That's
she
my
got with
little
your
yeah,
babies,
that's a little baby when she was younger. Yeah, she's a
and
17-year-old, and there are my two girls. Yeah, yeah.
well, I'm gonna say this too. They are just as pretty as their mama. So
Thank
yeah,
you.
yeah, not a problem, ma'am. But like I said, this is the thing about bodybuilding. It's a lot of work, time, and investment. You still got kids at the house. You know, this is one thing. I look at this is how I talk about this. This is sport is not very lucrative when it comes to other sports. Like you can make a living. You have right now we're in the middle of the. I know you're Greek and your Greek family big soccer fan. I'm from America. We don't. Soccer's getting kind of big here now, but still we got our football, American football, and what do you do for a living? Because again, this is a sport where you're putting more into it and getting out of it.
Yeah, so I've been with the same company for 21 years. I've altered roles. In the last 3 years, I'm a marketing specialist for the company. So it's a specific business unit that I work for. Not anything sexy, just push buttons and stuff like that. But yeah, so for the last 3 years, I've been in the marketing role for the company I work for.
So you're kind of like your female George Jesse, just pushing buttons.
Pretty much, yeah. And I go out, I look, suppliers, you meet with distributors, and, you go to events like in the summertime. Marketing's big for a company. You're out for barbecues, so you're out with people and trade shows and stuff like that, set up for trade shows. Travel. I don't travel too much, but I work for a good company. I've made really, really good friends over the years and supporting me on this journey as well too. They're following me through. I have managers calling me and going, "Oh, holy cow!" Like, whoa, I don't. So when I go to work, I try to not cover up. I don't dress like this, right? So. I think a few people were taken aback when they saw pictures of me and they're like, "That's you?" No, that's AI. I'm like, "No, it's not AI. It's me." Yeah. So
You might get a few fans says it was just that's Betsy. Say, yeah, I mean, okay. But this is the thing about doing. Me, even, I'm a fan of y'all ladies, but there people may not be. Especially as you were talking earlier, you come from a very traditional family. The idea of women with muscle can be considered offensive to their idea to their mindset. Where you look at you and then comments where are you taking steroids to get all big and huge? But again, it goes back to this. If you're not consistent, if you're not determined, you're not patient, if you're not, disciplined, you can take all the shit you can take.
it's
But you're
true.
not gonna look like,
You look
like
like
you look at some of the competitors like one of the women I'm a big fan of, especially in the sport of bodybuilding. I think she's amazing. She kind of set the standard for women's bodybuilding, and that is she is the current Miss Olympia, and I think she's just beautiful. And it's
amazing.
Andrea
Yeah.
Shaw.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I mean, wow. I mean, she's getting ready for the Rising Phoenix coming up in next month, and also getting ready for the Olympia. Is there anybody in the sport you follow and pay attention to, and you listen like that's somebody that really you respect their work ethic and the overall look and their physique?
I follow so many, and there's so many names to be quite honest. And there's this one that I follow from Russia. Amazing. There's not one. Again, I apologize. I don't have names, but there's a lot I look at it and I'm like, wow. Like you look at them and you know that they put in the time. They've actually been on stage more than like 2 or 3 times. So that's kind of where, for me, it's like if I go up against a competitor that's been on stage for the last 5, 6 years, they've got the posing on me. They've got a lot of different things. Like I'm a newbie to this, so I'm learning as I go along. But I do have many favorites. just not anybody off the top of my head, but I do follow a lot of, and I look at the stuff that they do, exercises they may perform. Like before being on this plan, I would go online and just follow different, different techniques and working out and stuff like that. So nobody in particular, but I admire a lot of women in the sport. It takes a lot for these women to do it. And I'm saying these women that do 2, 3, 4 a year. It's kudos to them because it's not easy. Like I personally, after the Toronto show, I was like, okay, this is it for me till next year. But then here I am now, prepping again and going through all, the mental stress eventually, the certain days where you feel like little things give you so much rage, which really shouldn't. But I think each show that I do, I learn from the first one. So like the first one, I go in blindly, not knowing anything. Second, I say, okay, next time I go in, I'm going to do this. Like my first show, I came off and I literally ate anything you could think of where my stomach was just like, oh, like I was like, okay, this is not right. So second show, like the one that I just did, I fluctuated maybe 3, 4 pounds in between, and I'm still basically almost the same 2 pounds off my stage weight. And I'm not going to make that mistake again. I'm not going to go overboard and, oh, now I get to eat all this stuff. I never ate like that before I went on prep. So this was more of a mental thing. And I remember calling my coach after my first show, and there's not one time where I've never wanted to not work out. And I remember it was like, so the show was on Saturday. I didn't train, the Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Monday comes around and I'm not feeling it. And I'm like, okay, this isn't Bessie. This isn't like, so I call up coach. And he's like, just go, just whatever you're doing, drop what you're doing, just walk in there and do it. He goes, it's normal for you to have all these feelings. So I did. And then eventually but this time I didn't have anything. This time, because mentally I knew how I was going to feel. The second show, the depletion, the no water, my coach coming into my room the night before, you're going to have 3 rice cakes. And I'm like, well, what am I going to down 3 rice cakes with peanut butter? Can't have any water. So I'm sitting there having rice cakes and it's like dry, but it was good.
Yeah. That water be like, can, please, sir, can I have just a drop? Can put it in an eye drop and just, because we got here, just 2 little drops in my tongue. That's all I needed.
That's it.
We got a comment from my man, shout out Black Panther. He says this. He says,
it's bad.
having good mental health is very important to achieve great success. Also, he says this. He says, Bessie, you have a great hard physique of art. Keep up the great work. And also, he says this. He says, Toronto, Canada, and Montreal, Quebec, Canada are beautiful places in Canada. I mean, if I get a passport, I might want to go. Also, he says this: women's bodybuilding, women's physique in Canada is incredible. Yes, they said that. So, for you, as a woman being in sport, you have to deal with how you are perceived because you're not like no big, huge mass monster. You kind of petite, nice little shape. You ever have to deal with people interaction with you, especially you go with your daughters because y'all, one's still in high school, and you have to go to events and and interact with people, and also, what's that for you?
Yeah, so I mean, it's just this. So this hasn't happened to me just recently, but you brought up my children. So I've always been in shape. Let's just say, but not as cut or veiny as I am now. But when somebody would see me, oh, you work out. No, I was born this way. But anyhow, I was with my girls. I was with my girls at Costco, and they were younger. So I have them in the. And then some women it was summertime, and I guess I was sleeveless, and she just runs up to me and she's like, grabbing my biceps, and she's like squeezing them, and there's a certain point where you're just like, okay, you can say something to me and not put you. And my daughters were really taken aback, and they're like, Mommy, why was that lady acting like that towards you? And I said, well, sometimes people see somebody that's fit and they admire it, and so my girls never really could concept that. They didn't understand it. There's some people should look like that. Like my youngest daughter one time told me the story, and I started laughing. She had her first sleepover at her friend's. And because I used to wake up early before, and I was married as well at the time, getting up early to come back home before they left for school, before my ex-husband would leave for work. I wanted to get my workout in before I interrupted anybody else's schedule, so I'd be done. and then I packed. So there was a time my daughter slept over a friend's house, and she came home and she says, "Mommy," and she's young now. I think she's about maybe 9 or 10. She's like, "I didn't know that everybody doesn't work out." I go, "What do you mean?" She goes, "Well, I was at my friend's house, and her parents woke up and they didn't leave. They just sat and had breakfast." So then I asked them after, I said, "When are you guys leaving to go to the gym to work out?" And they both looked at each other and they started laughing. And they're like, "No, honey, your mom only does that." So she came home. She goes, "I thought everybody did that." I go, "No, no, not everybody." So she had that. This is something everybody does. So she came back and said, "Nobody, it's something everybody does that, Mommy. You just do that." I said, "Not just me, but in general, some people do it." So yeah, and I do get the odd, guys going, "Hey, you want an arm wrestle?" And it's like, well, okay, I suck at arm wrestling anyway. You're gonna win.
Yeah, because the thing
But
is,
yeah,
men
I
and
do
women.
get. I'm used to it. I'm used to it now, to be honest.
Yeah, goes back. Men and women are built different. Like again, I may not be in the best shape like I used to be when I was younger, but I still got a little something there. It's
I
under
see
all
it, George.
this.
It's
Yeah, I
there.
see. Yeah, it's because and I think people need to realize that we as a species as humans, we have different things. Especially women are different biologically. Y'all the ones who bear our children. Y'all carry responsibilities of home. As men, our thing is to, as you quote Conan, to defeat our enemies, question Stephen's dream before you, and hear the lamentation of the women. Our purpose is to breed, battle, and die. That's it. You know. But
Uh,
I think everybody should understand that you do this for you, not so much by anybody else. And if somebody admires it, that's great. If somebody has a problem with it, well, you know what? Like my man Brother Mac says, fuck them. Because
can't
you know
make
what?
everybody happy, George.
You can't, because you want
No,
to make yourself happy. We have
no.
here a comment from my man Black Panther. He's excited. He likes to be out here talking to you ladies. He says this. He says Canada is the greatest place for bodybuilding. Also, he said this, Betsy, you should definitely become a marketing entrepreneur alongside Women's Physique Division. Sometimes working people can be draining, something to think about. And also, he says this. He says, women's bodybuilding athletes and business women, Andrea Shaw is the greatest. She is my favorite ebony black female bodybuilder. She is the greatest. Yes, she is. She's my girlfriend too. And also, this is from a man here. Chris says, looking great, Betsy. Many years of hard work and dedication. You may have come into this bodybuilding scene as newbie, but you prepared and showed up as a veteran. Super proud of you. So,
Thanks, Chris.
yeah. So, what's the question? What was that like for you? That in your because it's very we felt like your pro card, but what was that feeling like when you won in your classes in your division?
I was dumbfounded. Like honestly, like looking at my competitors beside me and knowing that they've been there and they've been there 3, 4 years. This is the fourth or the third year. I and when they could literally called my name, I was like, when they called the third person and then second, and then it was like me. I was like, oh yeah, yeah. I was excited, flabbergasted, and it was a great feeling. I'm not gonna lie. Who doesn't want to win?
It
Especially when you
doesn't.
put in all the time that you do, and you're sacrificing a lot. You're sacrificing time with family, you're sacrificing outings with people. I always have to pack if I go somewhere for lunch, or even if I'm going into work, I got to pack my forward meals. So the bottom line is it's not easy, and kudos to all the women that do it, that are busy, because it takes up a lot of your time. Like I was just complaining to a friend the other day, by the time I get stuff all done, work, whatever, prep meals, it's like 8:30. I have my meal, and then it's like, okay, like my sleep is shit to begin with. So I force myself to go to bed at 10:30, and even that's late. So my whole thing now is trying, as soon as I have my last meal at 8:30, half an hour later, just go to bed, because then that food noise is gone too. Because I find after my last meal, I know it's my last meal. Maybe it's a mental thing for me. It's kind of where the food starts. It's like, oh, would it be nice to have a spoonful of almond butter? So if I'm in bed, then it's done. So that's my new tactic. I need to improve on my sleep. It's always been lacking for me. And the more I read up on about it, about how important it is for, recovery, for everything competition wise, it's kind of something where I want to start aiming and trying to at least get 7 hours in versus 5 or 6, sometimes even 4, to be honest. So
I have sleep apnea, and I have to sleep with a CPAP machine. And sometimes, especially I grew up, my family we worked the farms, we were country, we were sharecroppers, and they usually my parents would get up like 5 o'clock in the morning to get ready for work and work the fields. And I used to one of my jobs. I had quite a few jobs. I used to work at a textile plant. I had to be there at 7 o'clock in the morning and get up at about maybe a little after 5. And I also worked at a night job. It was a gentleman's club, and I sometimes had to leave early because I know I didn't want to miss my job. Sleep is an important part of that. People again go back to the use of performance enhancers, but if you don't get your sleep, you don't get your recovery, you don't eat, you don't do all that helps in your process. Like, and again, that food is like food can be weapon too. Food sometimes is like this. It's like a dark little thing that's coming in your ear saying, "Eat me. I know you want to, Betsy. I know you are.
every
You
day,
just, yeah, you just be. I'm a particular type of criminal, Betsy. I just want you just to have this little peanut butter." I'm sorry about him. He creeps out every now and then.
yeah.
We have your comment. Shout out to my man, Black Panther. He is sticking in there. Thank you, brother. He says to you, he says, Betsy, you are great inspiration for women worldwide. Thank you, brother. I think she appreciates that. Also says bodybuilding involves time, patience, and commitment. That's true. And also he says, Bessie, never allow anyone to disrespect you in public places and private places. Protect your peace and protect your family from harm and danger. Thank you. Appreciate that. So now you're getting ready for your pro debut. What's going through here? What you thinking about?
I already Googled the competition top 10 last year. Again, being new to the scene, like, how many years has each of these, contestants or competitors, been in the scene? I definitely want to come in, like I told you, better conditioned, a little bit harder. Time wise, honestly, 8 weeks, am I really going to see a difference realistically? No, maybe on my conditioning a little bit. But the new thing I'm going to do that I've never done in the last 35 years is once I finish the show and whatever happens, I'm going to start like building. So take the year to build and come back a little bit bigger, maybe not too big, but definitely haven't tried that because in the years that I've been training, it's just basically go to the gym, work out, my routine, whatever. It's not like following a specific diet. So I'm going to work with Tim and figure out, plan for a year to start building and see what I can bring to the stage next year as well, too. Like I want to do the comparisons as well, because I can't really compare from April 11th was my first show till September. It's not a lot of time in between. It's not like, you know what I mean? So there's not a huge difference in how your body transforms. So it'll be really interesting to see a year from now, like next summer, what changes will be in my physique.
Yeah, it's a process.
It really
It's
is.
not.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's about timing. It's like this is why I've learned with my interviews with some ladies. This is not a race; it's a marathon. There's competitors who take the time. Like, for example, Andrea, she competed for a good part of a few years, took a break, came back, and you look what happened now. She's Miss Olympia. I
Yeah.
think there's competitors who want everything quick, fast, in a hurry. There's one
Mm-hmm.
lady who I follow, Paula Renta. She's 26,
Yeah.
and
Amazing shape.
wow. What was at 26? I was working my part-time job and living with my mom. You know,
Yeah.
but I think as I've been following the sport for a long time, it has evolved. It was just women's bodybuilding for many years. Then here comes fitness, figure, physique, wellness. That's very popular. Bikini. As
Mm-hmm.
the other division. Excuse me. Fit model.
You're
I
not.
give this out.
You're not a fan.
This is how I see it like this. It's a great. When I had some people tell me different things. I listen to them, but still, I'm not a big fan of it. I've interviewed a couple of fit model competitors, and I respect what they do. But again, this is the vision. As you see how bodybuilding is evolving, it won't be too long for that vision to start to evolve. What's the
Yeah.
point of it? I know it's a great entry division, especially if you're in the NPC, but there's no point for it to be in the IFBB because after a while, those women will become like what if you look at bikini now, and
Mhm.
you were at the show. You were doing the amateurs, but still, I know you saw a peak of some of the other pros.
Yeah.
Some of the bikini competitors look like some figure competitors. Figure competitors start to look like physique competitors. One lady also who's also a young lady herself, Sarah Bradley, who's moving up. She was there, and I know a couple of these things. A picture of Sarah. I'm a fan of Sarah, but I feel like she is women's bodybuilding. It's a good thing she's making that move.
I have to agree with you. Yeah, like when I saw her body and I thought, like if I were up against her on a physique stage, yeah, definitely a good choice for her to go into bodybuilding. She belongs there. I think her body type definitely is bodybuilding versus physique. And yeah, when I asked my coach when I first started, I said, "So what division are you putting me in?" And I didn't know if he was going to say it's bikini and fitness, or it's bikini and what do they
Figure.
call it? Figure, sorry, figure. And I thought, oh, don't put me in figure because I don't want to wear effing heels. No effing way. So when he told me, no, I'm putting in physique, I was like, okay, we're good. Yeah, barefoot, baby. That's how I train at the gym, just socks on. Yeah. So ever since COVID, we built like a nice gym back when we were, together with my ex-husband in our garage. And that's kind of where I just barefoot was like at the gym. I don't go barefoot, but in the garage was socks on, and that's how I like to train. I even run in socks barefoot. I do the stairs barefoot with socks on. Yeah, just something where I feel more comfortable.
Yeah, we grew up country. Used to be barefooted, especially because winter for y'all
I
it,
grew
it
up in the
starts to rain
70s.
about. Yeah, for us, our winter really will start telling me about the mid of December. So we be barefoot up to November. As kids,
I
Mom said,
believe it.
y'all boys, they put those. We put our shoes on when it gets feel like getting cold. But yeah, that's the thing is, I think this is where I talk about this on my channel. I do every so often. I have a every Monday I do a thing called Most Talk Monday. We talk about stuff that's going on. Also, I do every Sunday I have a roundtable discussion. We talk about things that go on in sport. And this is the thing I talk about because Monday I'm going to talk about the future of Miss Olympia because we have Natalia and Sarah, and you have other competitors coming like especially Paula, Sharon Hinton, who I got to meet once in Tampa,
Mhm.
women like Sama Binta, and we see the athletes. This one lady who I met was there. Her name is Megan Santa Barbara, but she was by Megan Morris. That's a married name, and she looks like she could be women's bodybuilding. But that's the thing with some of these women would say, you know what? As long as I can place in the top three, I'm not going to move up. But I think as you outgrow as an athlete, you should go how your body's going. If you're not comfortable with it, either choice. Either you move out or move up.
I have to agree with you there, 100%. Yeah. So I mean, I don't know. Like, I don't know if I don't think a year from now we're going to grow into physique where it's going to be bodybuilding. But if my coach says, personally, I would prefer to stay in physique. I like the shape. Not that I'm saying bodybuilding is, because that's a lot of hard work. And I mean, I don't know if he comes to me and says, but maybe you should try a bodybuilding show. I'll listen to him. What do I know? I'm just the competitor.
Well,
But yeah, no, I'd like to stay in physique if I could. So, better conditioning. If I can put on a little bit of size, on the glutes, on the legs a little bit, definitely. I'm really interested to see what a year might look like for me next year as well.
Well, honestly, I think physique works for you. I know you want to. This is a picture of her that I pulled up. Physique works for you because you have the smaller taper waist. You don't have the mass compared to women's bodybuilding because that's it. It's about mass for them. But we're seeing girls women's physique who should be going women's bodybuilding because they do have that mass. I think also goes back to the judging because the judges. I think when I talk to somebody, some judges are pushing more size, but should be more about better conditioning, cutting tighter, more smaller in waist.
Mhm.
I think again, I think the judges have too much control when it comes to competitors, and I think some competitors should take some judges' opinions with a grain of salt, toss over solo, and keep on moving.
Yeah, I mean, it all comes down to preference, but it's like you said, it all comes down to the judges in the end. Like judges may be looking for something totally different than you have, right? So I've been told like depends what the judges are looking for that specific show. So hopefully they're looking for me.
Yeah, well, I think they did pretty good. You had to go through trial and error and get your pro card. For
Yeah.
you, what is the thing we go to the gym? What's that thing you say? We get in the gym, you say, I love it. I gotta do it today. It's on the list. Coach gave it to me. And I think say, shit, why God? I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this.
For me, honestly, George, the gym, like I mentioned earlier, is escaping. It's getting away from it all. And then literally, I put on my AirPods. I mean, I talk to people, I'll wave, but I'm not one to sit and have like a lengthy conversation because I literally don't have a lot of time. But it's the escapism, and it comes back down to, I guess, maybe growing up in an environment where women weren't allowed to do sports because it wasn't a woman thing to do. And I knew I had potential because I was in track at school in high school, and I remember a coach pulling me aside and saying, "Why don't you come practice? Why don't you come join the team? Like, you're so good in it, like, the 400, the 100." And I couldn't, because if I went home and told my father, "Oh, after school tomorrow I'm going to be doing this," it'd be like, "No, you're not. You're coming home." So I didn't have that privilege. And I knew I had the ability to be good at something. So then I think maybe when I touched weights for the first time and I had that freedom where the gym was close to the house, he didn't really say anything. So I said, wow, okay, so now I can do this and I love it. So do I go to the gym every day saying I love it? No. I mean, 3:45 in the morning, I'd rather that alarm ring and me sleep in till 8 or 9. But to me, it's another job. It's get up in the morning, you have to go work out. Do you want to win the show or do you want to go on a stage and look like crap? So it's a job. So when I go in there, yeah, some days it's like, look, and especially near the end of prep, like near the end of prep, you're not even thinking properly. So right now, I feel great. Like my workouts are a lot better than it was going into coming in after the April 11th show, the Jim Morris show. Um, I'm hyped. So I don't know. It's just the hypeness, but the gym is just, it's me. It's like you said, me and the weights, and just getting away from it all. And it's the 3 hours that I have to myself. And then life begins after that, just starts. And then you don't have to worry about going back in to work out because it stays on my mind. If I have to split, it's a split. So, you finish work at 5, you're going in split. By the time you come back, you got to eat. Then you got to prep for the next day. Then you got your 8:30 meal. Now you're in bed. So, yeah,
I think everybody takes the gym. It's like their second home, home away from home.
it is.
It's their church. It's their therapy. Like especially when pandemic hit, and the gyms were closed down, and I think a lot of people lost that feel for it because you had no place to go. Some people did it at home, but it's not the same because at home, yeah, it's more comfortable. Then it's just the environment when you're there and maybe with people who have the same mindset you have, pushing and training. And I know, again, you look at for your videos. I know you love training back because you love doing the pull ups. What's the one you hate the most, if you can think of it?
I hate biceps. I hate training my biceps. It's a small body part, but it takes so much out of me. So yeah, it would be biceps. Any
Okay.
type of bicep exercise.
Bicep. I know some ladies would say chest. One of the most hated of all time is leg day. Anything to do with legs. I mean
Yeah,
that. I have a few ladies say they love leg day. I say you a sick freak. What's wrong with you? Who loves leg day?
I
We got
don't
here.
love them,
Hmm?
but I don't love them, but I don't mind them because I know I need to build. So
You just tolerate them. We have a
yeah,
comment from a man, Black Panther. He says this.
there you
Shout out to
go.
my man. He says, "Ignore the haters, Betsy. Always be yourself. Keep your head up. Stay positive." Also, he says this: sleeping and rest are essential for body recovery. Have good sleep equals good mental health.
True.
Also, it says this: it says, Betsy, you do good. You will do good. Do a great job on your pro debut. Stay positive. And also, he says this: it says, bodybuilding takes the time and patience. It can sometimes take a person years to gain great success.
Yep.
Yeah, and this is a sport where it takes a lot of time. You've been doing it for a long time, and then you finally get this opportunity, and it's just it's this is for you your big reward. And again, I go back how people who don't understand the sport, like for especially for the women, the cost of between the makeup, hair, posing suits, tan. You have to be presentable. You have to work a fine line of both femininity and muscularity. And then over on the other side, the guys just got put up a hair, but then hands and board shorts.
Yeah. No, I mean the expense did take me back. For my first show, I did keep an Excel sheet, and after I got to a certain point, I said I don't want to look at it anymore. I was like,
Yeah.
forget it. Like, what? Yeah, yeah. But I'm glad I did it. Like, I'm glad I did it. It's shown me a whole different side to the sport that I mean, I knew about. I mean, I've gone to shows in the past when I was younger, but I just hold a high respect for everybody, and even the women when you go there. You know, there's no cattiness in the back. It's everybody's just so friendly. It's like it's like a family orient. It's just a nice experience you have there. Definitely, I've made so many good friends from the shows too. From Tim, like Tim has a lot of like competitors, and just meeting and speaking with the girls at the shows, get their take on stuff. Open and honesty. I just love it. It's just everybody's loving. It's just supportive. Everybody's supportive. Even though you're competing with these girls, like you're competing in a lineup with a girl, and you're sitting there chatting and laughing and telling each other you look great, and it's nice. It's a good feeling.
Mhm. Yeah, it's good to have a camaraderie because you know what? I've heard stories of ladies who, like, one time, one lady I interviewed a while back, her suit popped, and one lady lent her a suit she had a spare. I knew a lady who told me that one time she saw a lady give a lady who was a figure competitor who forgot her shoes, give her shoes, and told her to bring her back later afterwards, time for her routine.
Yeah.
Yeah, but also you're gonna have that competitive part of it too, because
Oh,
this is somebody you go head to head with, especially for a pro card. And then, if it's a show where it's just only one pro card hand out, then, I've seen shows where ladies who